People of Earth, I give you Matt Baume.
Oh, hello friends. I knew you were coming, so I ate this cake. Now, like many of you, I've been savoring the delicious taste of marriage equality that spread across the country after the Defense of Marriage Act was overturned. That's rich. During our previous Kiki, we discussed how there are some places that require bakeries, by law, to sell wedding cakes to same-sex couples. Towards the end of that, if you'll recall, I also mentioned that there's a big gay loophole in America's civil rights laws that allows some places to discriminate on the basis of sexual orientation. What, you've forgotten? Well, I don't blame you. I've drunk so much cooking sherry I can't remember if I'm wearing pants. You can click over here to watch it, but honestly, why bother? With all the momentum behind full LGBT equality, what could go wrong at this point? It's not as though there's some desperate cabal of embittered opponents working on a terrible backlash.
A message for your master.
Thank you, Mother. Beware, this appears to be a copy of Arkansas's Intrastate Commerce Improvement Act, otherwise known as SB 202. Well, who could object to more intrastate commerce? That sounds reasonable.
Matthew, use the fork.
Of course, the fork of scrutiny. Let's take a closer look. Why, this isn't a law at all, it's a map. But to where? It's a mystery, friends. We'll soon get to the bottom of this. And now, kindly hold on to your butts. Ah, the open road. Now, where was it we're going? Oh, yes, the map. All right, it appears our first stop is the 2014 Conservative Values Voters Summit. And we've arrived in the past. Within these walls, the Values Voters Summit has gathered the nation's top homophobic minds. They are the loudest, the cleverest, the sneakiest, the creme de la crud. Among them is this guy, Frank Schubert, architect of California's Proposition 8, the Ivo Shandor of discrimination. Here at the conference, he's admitting that they're about to lose on marriage equality, and now they must scheme and plot their next foul move. The plan? To chip away at equality bit by bit. Okay, so they have big plans, but they're going to start with something small. And that's why our next destination's a small city. There's the signpost up ahead. Next stop, Fayetteville, Arkansas. Lovely. Hello, Gladys. Last year, this town did something pretty swell. They passed non-discrimination protection for LGBTs. That means you can no longer be fired or evicted or denied equal access to a public accommodation on the basis of your sexual orientation. It's one of only 3 towns in Arkansas to have done so. But then, last December, a bunch of political operatives weaponized the strategy described at the Value Voters Summit. They got the town to put the non-discrimination protection up to a vote and got it overturned. So now we know their next move. They proved that it was possible to prevent a civil rights law from taking effect in one small city. But so what? Well, now if you live in Fayetteville, you can be evicted or fired or even denied a cake, not just for being gay, but for even seeming gay. Not that I would know anything about seeming gay. Whoops! Our third destination? Little Rock. That's where they invented the cheese dog. That's good. But it's also where they invented SB 202, which seems bad. So let's see. What's in this Intrastate Commerce Act anyway? It says that towns in Arkansas are no longer allowed to enact protections for any group that isn't already protected by the state. Well, that's diabolical. Remember how the Civil Rights Act has a big gay loophole that lets some states discriminate against LGBTs? SB 202 not only widens that loophole, now it holds it open so that no one can close it. Well, now we know why Little Rock is so important. First, they proved they can stop a non-discrimination law from taking effect in one small city, and now they've proven they can do it to a whole state. Well, at least this is only happening in Arkansas, and we don't have to worry about it anywhere. Oh, I forgot about the fourth destination. Today, Arkansas, tomorrow, the world. At last, the full extent of their plan is revealed. They intend to pass loophole laws like this across the whole country, locking discrimination into law. Then anyone can be fired or evicted or kicked out of school just because of what someone assumes about their sexual orientation. Okay, well now we know what's at stake. You know, our little journey has reminded me to be grateful for all the progress that we've made in the last few years. We have marriage in most states, non-discrimination in a few others, and nationwide open military service. But that progress has frustrated some people who are desperately trying to stop it. They found that their old tactics aren't working, and so they're adapting.
Clever girls.
SB 202 is the next mutation. It looks like a simple commerce bill, but if you look closer, you can see that it's slowly chipping away our progress, bit by bit. I have learned a thing or two from the documentary film Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace. The first is that ducks exist in the Star Wars universe. And now I ask you, is it not possible that Howard the Duck's ancestors originated on Naboo? And the second, and perhaps more salient detail, is that the best way to conceal a great evil, an evil that can shake a republic to its very foundations, is to make it incredibly boring. SB 202 is the phantom menace of anti-gay legislation. The Huffington Post called it the gay partial birth abortion, but potato potato. The point is, it's a regressive law that rolls back freedoms and protections under the cloak of language that sounds completely reasonable. And if it succeeds, it'll be the first of many such laws all across the country. I seem to have lost my appetite. Oh, what could cheer me up? I know. I'll look at the comments from my last video. Let's see here. Like Sands Through the Hourglass says, liked him, meaning me, better, in smaller doses, and when he's playing it straighter. His delivery is too sing-songy, and that beard is distracting, but probably not in the way he hopes. He could still be cute though, but he needs to hurry. Thank you. If the videos on my personal channel are not to your liking, you can check out the totally butch and monotone updates that I do for Marriage News Watch. Also, you have good eyes. You're the first person to spot the tiny advertising messages I have woven into my luxurious beard. I was hoping they wouldn't be too distracting, but what can you do? In the last video, I said that it was better to fix our broken civil rights laws than go after individual businesses who deny service. Mike Giltonen writes, I don't see a need to avoid getting worked up about the small things in order to work on the big picture. In fact, getting worked up about the small things is the way to draw attention to the big picture and to chip away at the religious freedoms ploy. Mike, that's a good point. It's important to pay attention to both the cause and the symptoms of a problem. J.R. Buckley writes, a point you missed, in the case of the Azucar Bakery in Colorado, the owner said she would make the cake, would not write the desired anti-gay message, but would provide the necessary tools for the buyer to write on the cake himself. I think that's a huge distinction from getting all wedding cake Nazi. Thanks for mentioning that, JR. So, now you know about the sexual orientation loophole in our nation's civil rights laws, and about the cabal of anti-gay Sith who are plotting to use boring laws to hold that loophole open. So now, the question is, can we do anything about it? Maybe. I'm planning to make my next video about that, so if you have any ideas about how we can stop laws like SB 202, leave those in the comments or tweet them at me. I'm at Matt Baume. Also, if there are other topics you'd like me to cover in videos like this, you can leave that in the comments too. Now, if all this has just completely bummed you out, you can cleanse your palate with this strange, tasteless spoof of the hit podcast Serial. It's not safe for work. Thanks for watching, and good night.
Use the
All right, would you get out of here?